Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the press conference for the Virtual European Higher Education Fair 2021, happening on the 1st and 2nd of October. My name is Pia Bonales Mercado, and I will be your host for this morning's conference. Thank you for joining us and helping us spread the word about this year's fair, which is the biggest yet in the 11-year history of EHEF. Before we proceed, let me go through some house rules for this morning's press conference. First, may I request everybody to please rename yourselves properly. So if you could kindly put first your group name or school and organization before your name. So for PHEI, that is for the Philippine Higher Education Institution. EUMS for European Union Member State. EUCG for European Union Cultural Groups, GA for Goodwill Ambassadors, and M for the media. So kindly put the acronyms first before your name so it would be easier for us to identify everybody joining us this morning. Next, we would like to request everybody to please turn on your cameras. But to keep things in order, all Zoom accounts will be muted until the question and answer portion later on in the program. Now we are ready to officially open this morning's press conference. Here to welcome you all and give his opening remarks is European Union Ambassador, His Excellency Luc Veron.
Thank you very much, Pia. Attorney Mila from the Commission on Higher Education, good to see you again. Colleagues from EU member states, embassies and education services, officials from our Philippine university partners, and most importantly, dear friends from the media. Good morning to you all. As EU ambassador, this is a particular pleasure for me today to say a few words on the 2021 European Higher Education Fair. This is a meaningful event for me because before being ambassador, I was a son and a parent. Actually, I'm still a son and a parent. Early on, my dad made clear to me that his support for my education would be my sole inheritance. God bless him and my mom. He was true to his word, and I am so grateful to this day to both of them. As parents, Nicole and I followed a similar line in supporting the higher education aspirations of our son and daughter. Both have responded beautifully in their respective lines of studies. Our son in international economics and our daughter in medicine. Education is a fundamental right. It opens opportunities to better understand the world we live in, and at the same time, strengthen people-to-people links. It is also the only path towards human and economic development. The European Union Connectivity Strategy also underscores the importance of establishing connections, not only through bridges, motorways, and optic fiber, but also through exchanges of students, scholars, and researchers. Education is also a priority of cooperation under the EU-Philippine Bilateral Partnership and Cooperation Agreement. For these reasons, the delegation of the European Union, together with the embassies and education services of the EU member states, initiated in 2007 the Higher Education Fair that we have organized annually since 2012. Like last year, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced us to maximize the opportunities provided by the digital platform. By going virtual, we have more higher education institutions presenting their programs. In addition, with your help, our media friends and partners, we hope to have a higher number of participants this year. This year, we have the privilege to count with the presence of 140 higher education institutions from the EU, supported by 13 Philippine university partners and 2 associations. The fair welcomes a newcomer, Poland, in addition to our regulars, so to speak, Belgium, the Czech Republic, Germany, Ireland, Spain, France, Italy, Hungary, the Netherlands, Austria, Finland, and Sweden. Through this fair, the EU wants to give Filipino students access to information about pursuing their higher education in European universities, institutes, and colleges. We also want to underscore the importance of mobility, innovation, partnerships, and lifelong learning. This fair is therefore a one-stop shop, an information hub to know more about the EU at the center of academic excellence, its higher education institutions, their graduate and postgraduate programs, and the opportunities for financial support to student mobility, such as Erasmus Mundus, an EU scholarship program in which Filipino students are generally extremely successful. The fair includes opportunities for Filipino students to interact with the participating institutions and to ask questions. It also allows European and Philippine higher education institutions to explore partnerships, opportunities, mobility exchanges, joint research undertakings, and other forms of higher education. I'm very confident that the two-day fair on 1st and 2nd October will be a highly dynamic and fruitful experience for all participating students and for our partners from the academic sectors. Before I end, let me express my appreciation to the Commission on Higher Education for its continuing support since we started the European Higher Education Fair more than 10 years ago. Maraming salamat po, Chair De Vera, Attorney Mila, and your teams. I wanted to thank also our young goodwill ambassadors for their participation and testimonial. I understand that some of them are already here this morning. In addition, most importantly, thank to colleagues from the Philippine universities, media partners, European Union member states, embassies, and your higher education institutions. With this fair, this is my hope that you shall be co-bearers of learning, hope, inspiration, positivity, and solidarity, especially during this pandemic. You can go higher with EU. Sama-sama together. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay kayong lahat. Thank you very much, Hope.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Veron. I think that is a common sentiment with parents all over the world, because here also in the Philippines, you could hear that a lot, that they really say that it's really education that is the inheritance of parents for their children. And education being a great equalizer, it opens up a lot of opportunities. So we are also grateful that we have this fair so we could explore all of that with the EU. To our members of the media, the good ambassador will be sticking around for the rest of this morning's press conference. So if you do have any questions for him, just have them ready and we will be getting to them later in the open forum. For those of you who are new to the European Higher Education Fair, it is an annual education fair organized by the European Union delegation to the Philippines in collaboration with EU member states, embassies, and education services. The fair also boasts of having Philippine higher education institutions and associations and media organizations. As Good Ambassador said, this is the 11th year of the EHEF in the Philippines, and it has become one of the largest education fairs in the country. And this year's fair is actually the biggest, with a total of 140 higher education institutions joining from across 13 EU member states. That is almost 50 more than last year's record of 93 universities. That is just proof of the EU's eagerness to welcome more Filipino students, researchers, and academicians. The link to the press releases and other materials will be displayed in the chat box and will also be sent to you via email. This year, we will be joined by officials and diplomats from 13 EU member states, embassies, and education services. EHEF Goodwill Ambassadors, young and dynamic Filipinos who graduated from the higher education institutions from the EU, are also here with us this morning. Now, can you please show me your clapping emojis as we cheer all the Goodwill Ambassadors, including architect and Erasmus scholar Kenneth Tua, who finished his joint master degree with summa cum laude honors. You will be meeting all of them later during the breakout sessions. Please do show us your clapping emojis as we welcome all of our Goodwill Ambassadors this morning. We will also be having more partners helping Filipino students go higher with EU. And of course, we would like to acknowledge everybody with thanks. So first, we want to express our gratitude to our partner Philippine higher education institutions. There's Wesleyan University, Silliman University, Xavier University Ateneo de Cagayan, LPU Batangas, Mabalacat City College, Rizal Technological University, Trinity University of Asia, University of Cordilleras, yes, clapping emojis for everyone, Visayas State University, Jose Rizal Memorial State University, Mindanao State University, University of Santo Tomas, Ateneo de Manila University, and St. Louis University. We would also like to thank our media partners. Thank you for being with us this morning. We have Adulting Millennials, CBN Digital, Gadgets Magazine, Jensen News Online Magazine, Manila Times, Panay News, PhilBiz News, Philippine Daily Inquirer, SparkUp, PhilStar, SubSelfie, Sunstar Davao, The Cebuano, and Watchman Daily Journal. We'd also want to express our gratitude to our association partners, Campus Erasmus, and Association of Christian Schools, Colleges, and Universities. And finally, we would also like to acknowledge the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities. Thank you to all our dear partners for making this year's EHEF the biggest one yet. So like I mentioned, today we are joined by representatives from some of our partners. You will be getting to meet them later on the program to know more about their participation. But for now, I would like to call on the OIC Executive Deputy Director of the Commission on Higher Education to give her message, Attorney Lila Frida Milia.
Thank you. His Excellency Ambassador Luc Veron of the EU Delegation Office to the Philippines, maraming salamat din po. Education and cultural attachés of the various EU member states, representatives of Philippine universities and colleges, our young goodwill ambassadors, Filipino scholars, the media representatives, and to everyone watching us over at Facebook. The Commission on Higher Education extends its sincerest appreciation and gratitude to the efforts of the delegation of the EU to the Philippines in being one of the key partners of CHED in furthering the internationalization of Philippine higher education. As the European Higher Education Virtual Fair 2021 goes virtual, it goes regional for the second time and in real time, and this one in bigger scale. We're happy to note the participation of Philippine HEIs as regional partners who will host the cluster representations for students and other members of the academy. This year's theme, Go Higher with EU, puts the spotlight into the EU as the fair becomes the Filipino youth's gateway to excellence in higher education. This year, we congratulate also the 65 Filipino scholars under the Erasmus Plus program who will be embarking into a life-changing journey to fulfill their academic aspirations as they become the ambassadors of goodwill for the Philippines in their host universities and countries in EU. To maximize the government's investment in our Filipino youth, CHED has been committed in providing opportunities to enhance the capacity and quality of instruction of our Filipino faculty and HEIs. A well-trained pool of faculty and institutionally competitive HEI will ensure the provision of quality education to our Filipino youth and learners. Since 2016, CHED paved the way for Philippine HEIs to study abroad, develop new niche programs, and establish transnational education programs. For our Filipino HEI faculty and staff to be globally competitive, CHED has been aggressive in its efforts to forge partnerships with distinguished foreign universities, ministries of education, and international institutions. Some of the Commission's partners are the following: the Embassy of France in the Philippines, the Philippine American Educational Foundation, the Canadian Bureau of International Education, the British Council, the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, the Carnegie Mellon University of Australia. We have also initiated university partnerships with outstanding EU universities, with equally outstanding Philippine universities under the CHED's International Continuing Professional Education, like the University of Alicante, Saxion University, the Delft Institute of Water Education. Through these partnerships, CHED supported the studies abroad of 190 faculty and staff of 112 state universities and colleges and 78 private HEIs. In addition, the CHED has 66 active scholars who are pursuing transnational education programs offered by the Commission's partner Philippine HEIs and renowned UK universities. In total, we have 256 CHED scholars who are pursuing graduate studies in top-ranked universities in the US, Australia, France, Hong Kong, and Canada, and the UK. An additional 7 international cooperation was signed with the following government institutions and associations for purposes of enhancing international cooperation in higher education: the Ministry of Education of the Republic of Korea, the Ministry of Education of the People's Republic of China, the U.S. Embassy in the Philippines, the Center for Global Advancement of Community Colleges, the Ministry of Planning, Water Supply, and Higher Education of Sri Lanka, the Council of Higher Education of the Republic of Turkey, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade of Hungary. Through the signing of the Protocol for Cooperation in the Field of Higher Education between CHED and the Republic of Turkey's Council of Higher Education, Philippine HEIs will have exchange of education officials, faculty, and students, opportunity for scholarship and training programs, and research activities and joint publications. This will benefit Philippine HEIs, especially in the field of medicine and engineering, which Turkish HEIs are recognized. The CHED and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade of Hungary renewed the agreement on the grant of Filipino students pursuing advanced degrees in priority fields such as water management engineering and hydrology, agriculture and sustainable development, medicine, architecture and protection of cultural heritage, natural sciences, and environmental studies under the Stipendium Hungaricum Scholarship Program. The CHED has been sending students and scholars to Hungary since academic year 2016. And for the academic year 2021, we're happy to report that 34 students were awarded scholarships under the various PhD, masteral, and bachelor's degree programs. To date, CHED has established 63 agreements related to higher education with 41 countries, and a total of 107 Philippine HEIs developed 1,493 institutional linkages with top universities. We've also been actively engaged in many of the efforts under the Erasmus Plus, primarily the EU support to higher education in the ASEAN region, or what we call EU Share. So it has various programs, projects, and activities, and we participate in policy dialogues towards the internationalization of higher education and the harmonization in the ASEAN higher education. The Philippine CHED Connect is also another landmark undertaking of the Commission, made possible with the support of our invaluable partners from the education and other various sectors. It forms part of the Commission's commitment to flexible learning for the continuity of higher education in the country. Through the Field Chat Connect, an open educational resources platform is accessible and shared to all higher education institutions across the country. It is intended to be used by students and educators to maximize the use and increase the availability of educational materials, raise the quality of standards of our educational resources by gathering more contributors, and enhance opportunities for self-learning at home, and lastly, support learner-centered, self-directed, peer-to-peer, and social or informal learning approaches. And we really invite our EU partner universities to contribute also their open educational resources to the FieldShed Connect for use of our faculty, teachers, and students. The flexible learning is a continuing effort of the Commission on Higher Education. We've issued several guidelines on the implementation of flexible learning to ensure that Philippine higher education institutions will be able to implement teaching and learning through flexible learning and will be able to become agile and resilient higher education institution. Due to the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic, it has become an urgent need for the Philippine higher education sector to explore other innovative learning modalities that will facilitate migration from traditional to flexible teaching and learning options. As learners are differently situated in terms of time, pace, and place, these options allow customization of delivery modes more responsive to students' need for access to quality education. These shall also give students the option to choose the delivery mode most convenient to them as early as the time of their enrollment. The implementation of the flexible learning as a delivery mode has been adopted beginning academic year 2020 to 2021 and ways for us to move forward. The CHED is likewise exploring more ways and means to pursue digital transformation in our higher education system. We have formed the technical working group on futuristic opportunities in rewiring education or FOR to focus on moving Philippine higher education from the stage of transition due to the COVID-19 pandemic towards the stage of transformation focused on the new normal. This transformation, the new normal, will integrate the technology-related best practices of our institutions with new knowledge obtained from other partner countries. We seek to take advantage of technological advancements, harnessing valuable digital assets to develop and implement policies and programs that will broaden access and ensure quality of Philippine higher education, benefiting the wider Filipino community. Rest assured that the Commission on Higher Education is dedicated to ensuring the Philippine higher education sector will be equipped with the support it needs to transform towards a new and better normal. And CHED is ready to guide our colleges and universities into the new and better future. The quest for excellence through education in the time of the pandemic creates a strong bond among countries that share the same aspirations of development and progress with inclusivity through higher learning. The Commission, together with the Philippine universities, will continue to strive amidst this crisis. Now more than ever, we will learn as one. And as the F21 provides the best platform to link members of the academe from the Philippines to the best higher education institutions from the European Union, the Commission strongly encourages everyone to make the most of this opportunity and expand the global classroom, aspire for shared visions, build friendships through meaningful collaboration and equitable partnerships. Thank you very much at mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Attorney Lily Melia. We are very grateful for all the hard work of CHED and opening up all these opportunities for all those Filipinos who want to pursue higher education. Both Ambassador Veron and Attorney Melia will be joining our open forum later on to answer all of your questions. But in the meantime, let us watch how we can go higher with EU as we have prepared 2 videos for everybody to see.
When does studying make you go higher? When it's top quality learning. when travel is borderless, and when the future truly looks bright. It's when you pursue your MA and PhD in the EU. The EU's premium education is one of the world's very best, with unique atmosphere and exciting specialized courses. The EU's technology is supreme, with state-of-the-art facilities and an emphasis on innovation. The EU secures your students' future with a brand of quality higher education preferred by employers worldwide. The EU's enriching excursions are what every student's dreams are made of, and the EU's diverse cultures can be life-changing. Ready to go higher with EU? Join the Virtual European Higher Education Fair 2021, 1st and 2nd of October. Register now at EHEFphilippines.com. See you there!
Kausayan.
Unforgettable.
Education excellence.
Fashion.
Empowerment.
Culture. High quality, affordable education.
Sustainability.
Excellence.
Options.
Excellence.
Innovation.
Come and join us in the 2021 Virtual European Higher Education Fair on 1st and 2nd October 2021.
Now you can see so many reasons why EU is one of the world's top centers of education. Reason enough for Filipino students to really go to the virtual fair on October 1st and 2nd and see how they can go higher with EU. We are almost ready for our open forum, but before we get to that, let us first take a souvenir to remember this event by. So as requested, everybody please turn on your cameras so that we could take a class Zoom feed. Bring out your smiles, show them to me. 1, 2, 3, and smile. And another one, 1, 2, 3, and smile. And finally, let's all say, go higher with EU. 1, 2, 3, go higher with EU.
Go higher with EU.
Thank you so much, everybody. So now at this point, it is time for us to open the floor for questions that you have for both Ambassador Veron and Attorney Melia. Please do use the chat box. We will get to accommodate as many questions as we can this morning. Please just put it there and I will get to your questions as soon as we see them. So now maybe I could ask Attorney Veron and Attorney Melia to join me on our screen so we could take our questions. There's Attorney Melia and Ambassador Veron. So here's one of the questions. One of your many roles is to work with the Philippines administration to reach the UN Sustainable Development Goals, or SDG. Very timely, as the UNGA is happening this week. SDG 4 is about targeting education. Do you have any foreseen initiatives that would help provide access to education to Filipinos? This is from the Mindanao Times, CQ Francisco. I think it's both for Attorney Melia and Ambassador Veron. Maybe we could have Attorney Melia to answer it first.
Thank you, Pia. As I stated in my message earlier, we have been really ramping up on internationalization. And the present Commission and Bank, the CHED, under the administration of our chairman, Dr. J. Prospero Idevera, has really been investing, the government has been investing a lot on the scholarships, building partnerships, and development projects for our HEIs and partner universities. So we have opened up many opportunities, scholarships for the past 5 years. We have implemented under the K-12 transition program scholarships abroad and building international relations. We hope to continue it in 2022 as the funding for that scholarship has ended this 2021, but we see some glimmer of hope for that it will be continued further, because there were really a lot of successes for our scholars under the scholarships abroad, with notable accomplishments landing in cum laude and summa cum laude honors also for them. So just check out CHED's website, the International Affairs staff. We always come up with many of these notices of international scholarships, both locally and internationally. Salamat.
Thank you so much for that, Attorney Media. It's very exciting for us to learn all of those updates, and we're really looking forward to more in the future. Now, can we get to your answer, Ambassador Veron? Dear good Ambassador, I think you're on mute. Maybe if you could, thank you so much, sir.
Is it good now?
Okay. Yes, all good.
We have 65 Erasmus scholars who are currently in the European Union. I addressed them a few weeks ago before the departures, and they are preparing their masters and PhDs in the European Union as we speak. The Filipinos have always been extremely successful in applying for and be selected for Erasmus programs. We have had several hundred so far, and the Philippines always in the top 10 for successful application to our scholarship programs. So very successful so far. Let's hope to continue that. And one of the reasons why we have this fair actually is to allow Filipino prospective students to assess the education opportunities in the European Union, and also the living opportunities in a sense that they can travel to study and research in the European Union in a context that is both offering them the otherness and at the same time the familiarity that they need. So this is always when you study abroad a very interesting balance that you have to strike between the challenge of confronting yourself with the other culture and being comfortable enough in your day-to-day life to allow yourself to do that. And this is always an advice I give to students when they go abroad. I say, be assertive and proud of your culture, and be willing to be challenged by the others. It's an interesting experience to have.
Thank you, Ambassador. Very wise words. That is so true. And it's really a good opportunity for Filipinos to go there. And of course, when they're already in Europe, it would be a good chance for them as well. Aside from studying, they'd be able to travel, which also helps enrich their education to get to know the culture better. Now let's get to the next question. This is from Mariel Vergara of the Manila Times. How does a student qualify to study in any of the academies of excellence in the European Union? I think this is for you, dear Ambassador. What is the application process like, or is it different per institution?
Well, during the fair, this is the opportunity actually to answer these questions from the higher education institution themselves. So this is a sort of matchmaking process. And there will be many opportunities during the breakout sessions to ask directly questions to the higher education institutions, and to see what for the student to see what could be the best match for them. So there is not one answer to this question, I'm afraid, but several answers that are really specific to each of the students, and in terms of their aspiration, the type of field they want to explore, as well as the type of environment they want to study in. So I think there is no one size fits all, but it's a tailor-made process to find a good university for an exchange program. This is my experience.
Yes. Thank you, Ambassador. All the more reason for them to attend the fair on October 1st and 2nd. And of course, you could also visit the website, that's ehefphilippines.com, if you want more information from all the schools that are participating, and a lot of information you would be needing to know about the application process as well. This question is for Attorney Milia. This is from Mark Kevin Salomon of CDN Digital. What is the status in terms of the number of Filipinos pursuing higher education abroad, particularly in the EU? And what is the trend? Are we seeing increasing numbers now?
Thank you for that, Pia. I do not have the exact number now because some of them would be going also on their own. But with respect to programs that has been facilitated or by the Commission through its scholarships, scholarships abroad, I think our number right now is about 200. I will have to ascertain how many are in the EU countries, but for one, when I had a meeting with the embassy of France here, we have about 12 in the Czech France scholarship program. What is the trend? I think there will really be more interest as we expand opportunities to many of our Filipino students and the youth. The world has really changed, and it is by getting more opportunities where we can learn. Is a growing aspiration or a need also for every Filipino learner. But it is not also for the youth, if I may say, because it is also there is also effort on lifelong learners. The learning does not stop. And the COVID-19 have taught us that there are new ways to do things. So it's also an opportunity for lifelong learners, for adult learners like us, to continue learning, upskilling, reskilling, cross-skilling.
Thank you very much for that, Attorney Milia. Agreed with that. Yes, there's no cap as to when you could stop pursuing higher education, especially from our experience during the pandemic. A lot of people are experiencing what you mentioned, they're reskilling or upskilling. So maybe it's time for me also to check on the 1st and 2nd of October what those skills I could actually pursue and check out for the schools in the EU. Next, we have another question for Ambassador Veron. So, sir, how do you see the pandemic as affecting the aspiration of Filipino students in pursuing their higher education programs in the EU? Maybe these are questions as well. Would it be possible for them to pursue this virtually? Would that be a big impediment if they do pursue their higher studies, sir?
By and large, the higher education institutions in Europe are open for face-to-face education. I think this is an important message. We have, as I said, 65 Filipino students at the moment with our Erasmus program in the European Union. So I don't see any major impediment for vaccinated aspiring students in the European Union to travel to the European Union to pursue their studies in face-to-face programs.
Yes, thank you so much, Ambassador. That's really very encouraging for us to find out that, that the face-to-face classes are open. And of course, it's really part of the experience for them to really be on campus and really learn things firsthand. Next this is a question from Dave Achondo from Mindanao Gold Star Daily. So his question is for Attorney Lily. Will there be plans to increase the number of participants who wish to get a scholarship from this partnership? How can an individual join this program? Where do they go?
Of course, we want more numbers. We really want to provide opportunities. That is what the Commission on Higher Education always prepares. So the platforms and the opportunities to for scholarships, for partnerships, for linkages. You can check out our CHED website because we always have the announcements on the new scholarships or scholarships, both local and international. We also have, you can reach out also to the CHED regional office because they put out always also this information. And if still you cannot get the information, email us, send us your email at IAS International Affairs Staff, that means International Affairs Staff, at ched.gov.ph.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, please, Ambassador.
I would like maybe to say something to this. The opportunities are there, and I'm pretty sure that there is still room available for applicants. And this is so important for students who would be interested in a scholarship to go to the European Union and study, that some of our member states program are not, to my knowledge, they have not filled their quotas. So there are ample opportunities for Filipino students. So please, join us on the 1st and 2nd of November. There will be the opportunity for you to connect with the different member states of European Union, offer scholarship programs and research scholarships. So that this is the opportunity. And frankly, there is room for Filipino students to apply.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Veron. That's very encouraging to find out that there are a lot of opportunities, especially for scholarships as well. So that's good news for a lot of those who want to pursue their higher education. Next, this is a question from the Freeman. What is the average cost in terms of tuition fee for interested Filipino students to avail the higher education in EU member countries? And also for the, you did mention, good Ambassador, that face-to-face classes are already open in the EU, but for those who would want to pursue it virtually, is that also a possibility?
This is a question that our future students will have to discuss with their higher education institutions. I repeat, face-to-face education is the norm in higher education institutions in Europe at this point. So, and there is no major impediment to travel to the European Union to study. So I wouldn't see the advantage of, in particular with the time difference. Currently, the time difference with Western Europe is 6 hours. So this is not practical to attend webinars and so on at any time of the day. So I would not recommend that, but this is something to be discussed with the higher education institutions. I don't have the average tuition in our universities. It may vary, but let me assure you that we are extremely competitive in terms of tuition, extremely competitive. So in other words, it's much more affordable than other opportunities.
Thank you so much for that.
To be explored on a case-by-case basis, but there is no average tuition that doesn't.
And like you mentioned a while ago, there are a lot of opportunities for them to apply for scholarships, and they could definitely find out more about that once they do attend the fair on October 1st and 2nd. Well, I think that wraps up our Q&A this morning. For members of the media, we will be having breakout sessions later on. So you would be having more opportunities to ask your questions. You will be able to have pocket interviews during our breakout sessions. That will be happening right after the program. Thank you so much, Attorney Milia and Ambassador Veron, for answering all your questions for the open forum this morning.
Thank you, Pia.
Thank you so much. And this is where we end our Facebook live stream. Thank you so much for all of you guys who joined us this morning. And as mentioned, please do join us October 1 and 2 if you want to learn more about how you could go higher with EU. Thank you again to those who attended via Facebook live stream, but to our media partners, please do stay as we do have our breakout rooms ready for you to be able to conduct your pocket interviews. Go higher with EU. Thank you again to those who joined us via Facebook. See you on October 1st and 2nd.